Good afternoon. We're back. We had a short break. I had a coffee. I was actually talking to Steve there. Steve was asking about the shot clock settings in the 8-Ball World Championships. We'll talk about that in a minute. We have just seen the first match this afternoon between Bedhead and Snake Eyes, which in the end Bedhead won fairly comfortably. And we've got a second match coming up at the top of the hour, and that is just about a minute and a half or so away. But with two players I've never seen play, I can't recall. But Bedhead won out against Snake Eyes 11 racks to 6. The match that we're going to be watching now, excuse me, is between Columbus and Chip Scary in the first round. And Columbus has just arrived in the lobby, and according to that, he's from Turkey. He's ranked as professional, and Chip Scary is an A-rated player, so the ratings or the rating level would suggest that it could be a reasonably close affair between the two, but we'll see what sort of quality or any signs of the chance to progress and level up their game. That's the other thing, Bedhead. I went and had a coffee. I come back and had a PM from Bedhead, which had closed, and then Steve was PMing me about the shot clock. As I say, I'm going to get to that in a second. And the time is way too late now to set up Discord, because Discord, it takes 10-15 minutes to find people in Discord. It's not easy. It's something that needs to be done, prior to anything starting. As I say, I missed your chat here, Pig. I was away getting a coffee. I come back, and then Steve was talking to me about the shot clock, and we'll talk about that in a minute. This match should be getting underway. Steve was asking if there was any problems with the shot clock, in the sense that the shot clock is too short or whatever, but he was also explaining how the shot clock actually works, and he says to me he thought everybody knew this, and I'll let you know while these two are sort of warming up in the first rack. I'll go to the tab with Steve. Now, what was the thing he was explaining to me? Right. I was trying to get Steve to change Friday night 9-ball. First of all, he's gave me no response on that. He's probably totally ignored that. But it needs to be changed and delayed by an hour, because it's now starting at 6 PM since the clock went back last week. Steve says after the break or a foul, it is 15 seconds more for the base shot clock. So the 30-second shot clock would be 45. And also when it's ball in hand, the clock is extended as well, although there's not any real sort of evidence of it other than the bar counts down. But I don't think a lot of people, you or I, pay attention to that, but he insists that the shot clock is longer after the break and also with ball in hand. What he then did is he said, did anybody have a problem with it? I said, well, you need to ask Bedhead, and well, I never said Snake Eyes because I think he'd gone by that time. I said Larry doesn't like it. He thinks it's too short, and I dare say maybe a few others do. He says he put 10 more seconds onto the base shot clock. So now if you look at the tournament page, the tournament now has a 40-second shot clock and the two 15-second extensions, or at least unless he's changed them as well, I don't know. But he does say that the shot clock is longer after you break off, and it's longer with ball in hand. But he's now extended the base shot clock to 40 seconds. So that's basically the gist of that. So meanwhile, we're here. I think Chip Scary's from the States. and Columbus, I said, was, according to that, from Turkey. So there's not much between them in the ratings, but as we can see, Chip Scary's going for the old heave-haul draw. Well, I mean, he's made it that bit longer, the 40 seconds and then those 2 extensions, which really should be enough to be able to see where you're going. And Chip Scary with a big draw didn't get him anywhere. And so now, let's see what Columbus is made of. He's got all the balls there for him. Welcome back, Chico. And again, players are getting found out of this 10-foot table. Again, 2 players who've probably never been near the 10-foot table to play any sort of game, I don't think. Yeah, Larry was doing shots like that last night. Early on, he just could not find a line. And ended up being 4-1 behind early in that match. And then from 4-1 behind, he won the next 10 racks fairly comfortably, to be honest with you. There was far too many errors from Casino Jim, who is familiar with the 10-foot table, but his shot alignment and positional play was not of the standard that was going to get him any joy with the chances he had. So Columbus has a target area, and again overhitting it by a country mile. So there's no, immediately there, the first judgment there is it's not a controlled shot, and he's using far too much pace. But you've got to give them enough time to settle down and find the way to the table, being the bigger table, but that was far too heavy. And straight away, even though Chip Scary's the lower rated player according to that, he looks to have things under a wee bit better control from the couple of shots we've seen. And that gives him the first rack against the break. Bloody, my headphone cables get caught up here a minute, hang on. Right, that's better. Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind here is that, well, the thing you need to do here, Pig, is get yourself on Discord. And the other thing is I'm not well practiced at sending invites. I need to go on it to remember how to do it. That's the problem. See, I don't even know what my Discord tag is. I'd need to open Discord to go and look at it. It's hashtag something, isn't it? And numbers or something like that. Yeah, Columbus is going to have to use his shot clock a bit better to get his alignment. set up better on these shots. But I think he's been found out big time straight away here with this being on the 10-footer. I wonder how many players signed up to this tournament not having a clue that it's on the 10-foot table. I'm betting there's a fair number of them. I think Chip Scarry's the odds-on favourite here. I think he's got a bit more of a... He's doing a wee bit more... Maybe the problem for Chip Scarry's the movement of the cue ball, but I think he's a bit more... He's trying to be a bit more controlled. And that's always going to benefit him than it will do Columbus's chances. But stranger things can happen, but you know, after a few shots you can almost tell that. Well, I think he was trying to spin out for the 9. He's still got a shot in the 9. The problem with this is he has to be really lucky to pot this 9, keep this ball in play and still have a shot in the 10 through the gap. I think if he hits it too hard, obviously the cue ball's going to squirt away, but he's actually played that pretty damn good, and he's just unlucky he didn't find the gap. So I think the signs are good for Chip Scarry, that he's at least a player that's thinking a bit about what he's doing. I'll give him that credit. That is always a promising thing when I see a player actually thinking about what they're doing rather than trying to smack that 9 ball in and just get lucky. And Columbus now with ball in hand, and with all these balls the way they are, you would expect most players to run out, but I fear a little bit for Columbus's chances as to whether he's really going to be switched on and make a choice in what he's going for, or just pot a ball and if he sees the next one have a go at it. I tend to think that he doesn't have a lot of structure about how he's going to do this, but that remains to be seen. Well, Bedhead, you know me. I give my opinion on how I see a game. That's the way it is. I see it the way I see it. How I would play a shot is a lot different from how others would play it. And now Columbus. Did he call the bank or has he called the cut? I was too busy looking at the chat. Yeah, he's called the bank. And that's not a bad outcome, because Chip's left with nothing on, I don't think. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I think there was a couple of times Bedhead had a chance to deal with a problem, and he went about it his way of doing it. As long as it works out in the end, that's all that matters. Well, Chip's got the hit in the 10, he's got a hit in the rail, and he's left nothing easy for Columbus. Well, the thing about pattern play is you have that. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but with me, I have an image in my head. I've looked at the table, and I've already got a blueprint in my head as to what way I'm intended to go. Now, the problem is whether I get there or not, you know, and that's the same, I would think, for most players. But generally speaking, if you have that plan and you say, right, well, there's the 30, there's the 13, there's the 7, there's the 6, whatever, and if you have that pattern in your mind, you're usually going to get there. But there's far too much evidence from far too many players that they don't, and I'm afraid Columbus might be falling into that category. And he might be escaping again here, I think. Yeah, he's got really lucky. And if Chip Scary's just trying to get his jump cue to work, he's now finding out he ain't got one. But it may be a chance here for Columbus to get one rack in the board. If Chip can't get a hit in the 10. I would tend to go around the right side of the 8 ball with this shot. Yeah, because I think if you'd spun to the right side with a sort of softish massey, you're bound to get the spin working off the rail and at least kick the edge of the 10. So, ball in hand for Columbus, and as long as he doesn't do something silly and follow the 8 in, which wouldn't be the first time I've seen that happen, he should be 1-all. Well, that's what's going to happen. That's what I'm saying. I have a game plan to do something, and of course you hit one wrong, and then everything goes pear-shaped. But that's the story of every game you're ever going to play on a pool table. But if it happens more often than not on the night, then the chances are you're going to be winning, though. So you have to stick to the game plan. But a lot of these guys are definitely getting found out on the 10-footer. They're just, I mean, Snake Eyes was struggling simply from lack of play on it. He wasn't getting to the shot most times. Oh, look at this 8 ball. The 8 ball goes. Obviously the 3 ball is blocking that for Chip, but the 8 ball goes into the right centre pocket or the right middle. Well, generally speaking, in a game like 8 ball, sometimes, early on in the rack, you're usually maybe just looking to get into an area to give you a choice of a couple of balls. But then it gets to the nitty-gritty, and then you have to make important choices if you're going to get to a specific spot where you can only pot a certain ball from. And that's where the better players should be able to do that. That's where you're going to get found out. If you can't get that cue ball into that particular spot or thereabouts, you're going to find it hard to run out, given the opportunity. So early on, it's not difficult if there's balls in the open. You're only getting into certain areas. Some players are just a bit lazy, and they're not playing specifically early on, and then very, very soon after that they find that they're well out of shape. Dealing with problem balls is the priority issue, I think, early on. If you have any opportunity to take the chance and deal with a problem ball, you must do it, because you will run out of balls before you know it. And then suddenly the control of the tables with your opponent with his stack of balls still on the table, and the chances are you're going to be locked up and lose the rack anyway. That's the beauty of 8-ball. So now Chip has everything, everything on. Can he get it done? Again, that's more evidence of a player not being on this table, not picking the line. Well, Chip's got a problem here, obviously, and looking at this, see, he's tried to create something of an impossible angle there with spinning the cue ball around to somehow get on his 13, which was never really going to happen. But now Columbus has a 1 ball into the middle, and he's got to run the cue ball to be able to see the 2. But is he picking the potting line in the 1? And you see, he's not hit the cue ball this time. Earlier on he hit a ball and he thumped it far too hard. Now he's not got there. Now he can maybe just chip the knuckle and catch the 2. I think he can. And he needs to maybe hit that 11 if he's going to hold on for a shot in the 8 into the right middle pocket. He just needs to get there, but he doesn't want to hook himself. And that's worked out perfect as far as holding for the 8. But he's still got a line to pick out here. Yeah, Chip potted that ball with some idea in his head that he was going to defy the laws of gravity and physics and somehow get on the 13. It was never going to happen. And he's paid the price for that. Columbus has got it done, got himself into the lead. It's about knowing your limitations. And there's far too many players like that. Far too many players just don't know when to draw their neck in and, play a lock-up safety or something. Especially when balls are tied up. You know your opponent's not going to run out unless he gets good shape in a ball to make the breakout. And you have to judge that once the match is underway, unless it's somebody you're familiar playing with and you know what's at a level they can play at. If you ended up bumping into one of these 2 guys, pretty soon you would know that you can take a wee bit of a liberty, because the chances are they're not going to be running the table. But that's when you have to know. It's like the old song, isn't it? You know what is it, Kenny Rogers? You have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. It's the same rule in pool. You just have to know when to play that shot and know when not to play the shot. Well, that's one way of potting them. Use the old 1-2 combo. Well, that's a shot at the tournament. The old left-right. Yeah, that was a left hand jab and then a right uppercut, and it still went into the hole. You see, this cue ball's going nowhere here unless it runs past the 10, which it has done. And now he's got a little delicate combo. Now this should be going in every day of the week, this ball. I mean, it's so easy, this little combo. And now, I think what I'd be doing is I'd be pushing that 11 up into the corner pocket past the 2, and probably jabbing it in just to try and hold the cue ball and at least see the 13, because if it doesn't go in and you play it at the right pace, you're going to leave it there or thereabouts. And now he's gone all over the place. Now, did he call a pocket there? Did anybody see that? He didn't call it, so he should miscall. He can't just apologise, he has to miscall. Oh, not a miscall. What did I miss? So that's the damn thing we're reading the chat. What happened there? Because I saw him hit a ball. Did it go in off another ball or something? Because it looked like a missed call. Anyway, if they're happy with it, fine. Who am I to interfere? He shot the ball at the pocket directly, but just missed it, and it went in anyway off another ball. Was that not a missed call then? No. I mean, if we're going to... Yeah, when you say it was the same... But strictly speaking, if I'm going to be nitpicky, he should have called the ball in the pocket, shouldn't he? I mean, let's get right down to the bare bones rules of the game. He should have called the pocket. But if it goes in off another ball, it's fine. Anyway. Now, if he was banking a ball, and that ball went off another ball and went into the pocket that you would generally agree was thinking of banking in, it wouldn't be a miscall. It's never a miscall unless you actually physically call the shot before you play the shot. Am I right with this game? Because I'm mixing this up with 10 ball. I think that's where I'm going wrong. 10 ball is a called shot game, but you're only calling combos and banks, aren't you? Right. Right, I've got you. So we're just assuming that he intended to pot it in that pocket, even though he didn't call it. Is that the way this game generally works? Bear in mind, I don't play it a lot. Well, there's me thinking that Columbus was going to be doing well to win a rack or two, and he's now, at the moment, odds-on favourite to be 2-1 up. And I did the wrong thing there, because that's the thing. I shouldn't be typing anything in the bloody match. That's a numpty stupid thing to do for a start, because that should be down to them to sort out any differences. That's a fatal thing the commentator's done there. Especially when the commentator hasn't a bloody clue what's going on. Anyway, well, Columbus had his chance there, left himself awkward in the 8, and now it is all square. I mean, I presume we're playing it on the basis that this is a called shot game, but the common sense factor comes into it. That's what we're talking about, aren't we? The way 10 balls played. You know, if you like the shot that Bedhead did play, where he thumped the ball and then it bounced across the table, went into the pocket he was playing it into in the first place, is still legal. Right, I've got you. I think this is the only other match today, isn't it? I think the other ones are tomorrow. I'll need to have a look at that bracket again. Well, Chip's calling the combo. Can he see enough of that 10? Yes, he can. Not a bad line. It's pretty good line. Oh, that's not a very good outcome though. Well, I think he might as well move that 9. I mean, you'd have to get really good on it to be potting it, so he might as well move it and just take the risk that Columbus isn't going to do an awful lot of damage when he gets to the table, but at least get his other ball into play. That's not really helped the situation a great deal, because obviously the 2 is blocking him there. Now he can call the bank. And if he gets really good, he can call the 10 and hope it follows the 7 in. That'd be the one way of looking at getting it done. Right, while they're messing about here, let's have a quick look. What was that? Today's date's the 4th, so the match is tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon we've got Christian against Little Wolf at, what time's that? 3 PM in the afternoon. We'll get this match on at the moment. Now, who did we say was on tomorrow later on? We've got... Was Cobra not on? Who was it? What one did I spot earlier on? Ah, there we are. Cobra against Mooncake. That's at 7:30 tomorrow night. And then the other match after that one. So there's 3 matches tomorrow. The other one then is it not right? Is Albinario and Tommy at 9 o'clock. So if the calendar doesn't get changed for tomorrow, then Friday night 9 ball will be starting at 6 PM, and I'll start with that, and then we'll have the matches that follow. I think that'll be the general plan. Now, see, there's an example there. What pocket did Chip call that 10 in, or did he call it? Well, he had to, because you're forced into doing it, don't you? And it would have been a missed call if it went into the opposite pocket. Aye, I've got it now. It's not my bedtime yet, but my brain's shutting down. Well, this could be a long afternoon, this. That's... well, it's 10... It's 8 ball, isn't it? So you're not forced to call the... See, I saw... I presume it was called. Yeah, aye. I saw the 10 ball at the bottom of the HUD, so he did call it. Now, again, while they're messing about here, let me just go to the calendar, because I messaged Steve there, but as I say, in amongst that chat, he never gave me any proper response. And you can see that Friday night 9 ball is... sorry, that's not it. Where the hell are we? That's today's. It's tomorrow's. Let's see if he's changed it. I don't think he'll have got round to it. I'll be very surprised if he has. No, it's still 6 PM for Friday night 9 ball, and that'll be the first 90 minutes. So they might change it between now and tomorrow, but it's unlikely. I messaged Brian 2 days ago, or read back. He's not given me any response, and I messaged Steve in the middle of the chat, and he never gave me any response either. So it's more than likely not going to be done. These tournaments are always going to be the same, because you're going to get players of this sort of level battling it out until till they bump into somebody who's a step up in class. These are fairly matched up players, so really this could end up going any direction, this match, but it could take a while because of the inconsistency with both of them. That's a good cut though. Well, he's going to need to get a good bank on here. Again, he has to give this the pace to make the bank. He can't hope it's going to go any other direction after it goes up the table. And he's had a good go at it, but that's going to knock in the 9. And it's a free gift for Mr. Scary. Well, a whole stack of balls have dropped in there. I think the cue ball was one of them. Was it? Where's the cue ball? No, it's in amongst the stripes down the bottom. So, what did we lose there? We've lost the 5 and the 11, the 12 ball, and now we've got a scratch. So the commentator's curse was just delayed there by a minute. So there's still a wide open table as far as who's choosing what yet, but the immediate issue is that Columbus is ball in hand, and he just tried to roll the 11 in, and he's quite happy to leave the 8 ball locked up with the 1, which I suppose is not a bad idea considering he's unlikely to be running the table. He's keeping that there as a safety net for the time being. And now all he's going to do is, if he can pot this, whatever the hell ball it is, the 9 ball, he'll then be playing the 8 ball. Well, he should have a right pop at it to try and break the 8. And the best thing that happened there was not hitting the 8 ball, because it's still locked up. And well, if Chip can play a decent safety, he could play the 7 and try and just get in behind, or get over to the 8 and the 1. But he could have done with a better angle than the 7 if he's now committed to try and break the 1 and the 8 into play. I don't know whether he can really get a lot into it from there. So now you've got Columbus's last ball up the table. You've got Chip with 3 balls in the open to pot. And he's not going to be good in either of them. Unless he wants to cut this in the middle, he has a chance here where he could try and get into this 1 and 8. But is he going to be good enough to get there? And again, it seems to me the solution for these players is to thump the hell out of a ball, to try and create something out of absolutely nothing, rather than play the right shot and use the angle that was there with the cut in the middle. And this is where players are lacking in using the angles that are available to you, rather than trying to create miracles. And the chances are, though, Chip Scary's still going to be the favourite for this rack, and to open up a 2-rack gap. Well, I would actually, I would play safe off the 1 here and just kick into it to try and keep the 1, the cue ball behind the 1, and open up the 8 slightly. That's a better shot than just running up to the 2, because now if Columbus wants to try and hit this 8, the chances are he's going to break things out. And this might work out here for Chip. And the safe shot here to try is to hit the top half of the 8 ball. And Columbus really struggling to find any sort of line there. He was nowhere near anything. But now, Chip Scary's safety has got him the reward, because he can get to the 1, the 8 ball's in play, and he just needs to roll the 2 in. So, well, if Chip can roll the 8 in, he'll have the gap. Now, has he got the break? Nope. Eight ball gets kicked in, so I presume that gets respotted. Now Columbus has chosen the solids and he's dead straight in the 6. And the one ball's locked up with the pink 12, I think that is. Well, Columbus might well have a good bang at this 5 ball to try and move something. No. And now he's going to then surrender the table to Chip. And if he plays his 1, and he's going to be forced to because he's locked off in the 2, so this is going to work out in Chip's favour until Columbus played that shot and still left the 1 locked up, so that'll do for him. So the immediate problem is dealing with those 2 balls tied up. I don't know what Chip was trying to do there, but again he's left a dodgy cut here for Columbus, but it's a tough shot, but if he can get it, I think he's going to hit. If it's thin enough, he's going to hit those 2 balls. Yeah, I think he has to just sort of nurse this 2 in and just chip something on that side there. No. And again, the best outcome of that is he didn't get the hit. That still keeps him in the game. Chip, I think, is quite happy to bide his time and wait until Columbus is forced into making a hit on the 1, which is going to be now, and more or less surrender this rack. Well, he's calling a pocket, but I think he's really just got to try and get lucky. And he's, I think, got lucky again because he's tied up the 13 and the 10. And now Chip has to be careful. I think he's trying to just kick into behind the 10. This is dangerous. And he's hit it too heavy. And now Columbus with a chance to get 1 back. How is he going to play the weight in this shot? And again, just hoping to get some sort of sight on the 8 ball, which he has got. Let's try and get behind him to see how he's aiming here. Well, that looks as if he's aiming to the right knuckle. Yeah, it's just gone in. You can see that players aren't getting themselves lined up 100% when you get behind them. But it's one back though. Keeps them in touch. And a ball in the break as well. And it was, what went, the 5 ball, so a solid has gone down. And they're looking not too bad apart from the 6, which does go if you can just drop down off the 3, but well, Chips had again another thump there for no reason. You know, this is the thing, players are banging balls with no real thought of what they're doing, and it ends up an ugly mess most of the time. And I was saying early on that Chip Scarry looked to be the player that was putting a little bit more thought into what he was doing. But we've seen a few banging shots from both players. You know, it's as if players just totally run out of ideas and how they're going to combat a situation. You know, apart from the sort of mastery of being able to move the cue ball better, they seem to lack the basic understanding of keeping yourself in the game, keeping the ball in play, and not just banging at a ball and hoping for some excellent outcome through sheer luck. That's never going to get you success. And no doubt if either of these two guys watch this stream, I may well get a nasty email from either of them. So Columbus on the solids, 4 ball into the middle pocket, and needs to watch the pace if he's drawing back off this. Well, he's stunned it and now left a cut. But it's a cut to get him right back in the game and square the match up. Again, if you're familiar with the 10-foot table, it doesn't take you long to have a look at that, and then autopilot takes over to play the shot. And Columbus couldn't pick the line. And again, in defence of all these players, it's simply lack of table time on the 10-footer that is catching him out. So the match should have been all square, and if Columbus had played the stunny draw shot that I talk about, he would have pretty much nailed that 8 ball and getting position on it rather than leaving it the more awkward cut angle. Now Chip has the table at his mercy. Well, I would be stunning that 15 in to maybe nudge the 10 or just brush off the 10. The worst that can happen is you push the 10 towards the rail, but you've still got a shot up or down the rail in the 10, but you leave the 13 into the right middle. Or you leave the 11 after this 15. Well, he's brushed the 10 and he's still on the 10. Now, I think the problem though is he's too straight. Now, he needs to come back about 4 or 5 inches, and he's missed the 10, and that will be a missed call because he didn't play it into that pocket. And it's so easy for it to go pear-shaped for these guys. And Columbus with a chance again, second bite at the cherry. And that's overcut as well. You can see the big difference it makes to these guys there. I mean, Larry was just as bad as us early on in the match last night with some of the pots he was trying to make. He just could not pick that angle. It's totally different. And with the bigger distance the cue ball has to travel and the object ball as well, Larry was missing them onto the rails and they weren't even hitting the pockets. And it takes a little while to familiarise yourself with the layout of this thing. Well, this match started 55 minutes ago. We could certainly be here another 55 minutes at this pace. And all these missed opportunities are what ranks up the clock. You know, higher standard players will rattle through the racks no problem, but players of this level will batter about for 15-20 minutes a rack sometimes. Well, the bank has been called and the bank has worked, and more importantly, Columbus has lost his chance. Well, that cue ball was scratching there until it got kicked by the 15. Columbus had his chance to go square at 4-all, and he's now chasing again. Yeah, well, why are you telling us that? Or did you find out it was a 10-footer and it scared you off? Good afternoon to Bankster. Well, there was a nice little 25 ball combo down the rail. That worked out perfect. Well, again, this rack could take a while. We've got the 3 ball not really going anywhere where it's stuck. And Columbus again could take a chance here. He can cut the 1 in and just try and get the cue ball spinning to hit something that might run into it. He might as well take the risk. Or he could do it off the 7. I mean, he's got 2 choices to try and move and improve this 3 ball, and he's refused both of them. That's a chance gone. He could have easily got into that 3 ball to bring it into play. Well, now Columbus has missed the 2. He's brought the 3 into play, but again, the biggest mistake there is actually hitting the 3 and the 15, because the 15's now, well, it's in a better position than it was. It's not great. And again, Chips had a bang for no reason. I mean, he's just banging it pots with no real thought there. Got to be a bit more constructive than that. We now got a 4 ball on the bottom rail going nowhere. So Columbus's odds on running out here are slim to zero. And again, he can thin cut the 7 and he's bound to run into the 3 if he gets it thin enough. How's his luck? Well, it can always work out like that you get the nudge onto the 14 and you drop yourself right, well, although he's dead close to it. Let's have a look at that from that angle. It's that would come off the rail if he tried to bang that and cut it, I think. Well, now he doesn't want to do the fatal mistake here and break the 14 and that pink 12. He doesn't want to be doing that. That was the sensible shot. You didn't know about this tournament, we've been bloody plugging it for the last 3 weeks. The sign-up link was in the lobby. When you join the lobby every day, you've got no excuse. That's not a good excuse, you didn't know about it. That's the old bullshit excuse, as they say. What he's basically saying is that when I come to the VP4 lobby, I pay absolutely no attention to any notices that pop up when I join the lobby. Mind you, in Bankster's defence, Steve never did a write-up on the homepage. For those players who maybe occasionally look at the homepage, Steve never wrote anything on it, which is one reason people won't know about it. But the notice was in the lobby for the last 2-3 weeks. And Columbus has committed the fatal mistake there. And he's broke out the 2 problem balls in doing so. And so Chip can stretch the lead. Well, this is where you want to take the 1-up table first. You always want to leave your last ball as the one adjacent to the 8 ball if you can help it, because it means you've got a lot less to do. Now let's have a look at what he's got here. Well, I would be punching this in a wee bit unless you want to drop through and leave this 8 long, but I would want to get around into the table. Well, he's going to leave it long. I don't know whether he's going to cut this in the middle, but he's not left him anything easy. It is not easy. Now let's see if he just rolls it to the pocket rather than having a bang at it. Oh, he's again really struggling to find a line, and the worst possible outcome, and this time Columbus with ball in hand. The second gift of the afternoon, if I remember rightly. He's got a roll in the 8 to get back within what, well, not so much a roll in as a bang in. And balls in the break this time. And a couple of balls get in, the 5 and the 14 have gone, so wide open table, and every ball bar 1. I think the strikes look the favourite to me here, because that 4 ball is locked up by that 15 ball, so the strikes is the one to go for. And straight away Chip's got himself in a bit of bother. I think he can still cut this pink 12. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to is that Mooncake? Welcome all the latecomers. This is the second and last match of today, and we've got 3 matches tomorrow, I think. And now we've got 2 balls locked up in the right rail, so everything was looking good there for Chip until that shot, and now he's having another bang. It seems to me Chip's solution to a problem is to bang at a ball in the hope he's going to get there, and that isn't doing it. Seen far too many of them already. You know, if you're going to try and improve a situation, you've got to be constructive rather than trying to be destructive. You know, trying a demolition job, you've got to construct a way out rather than destruct it. But either way, Columbus is only one right behind. Oh, is it 3-all? Well, I was watching a little bit of it before I started this, and Hamilton had seemed to be struggling early on according to the commentators. So it's gone to a final frame. He'll probably win now. Oh, the foul in the 8-ball. Disaster for Scotland, as Arthur Montford used to say, none of who you guys will know. But it's now 5-all. And we're now an hour and 6 minutes into this. It's like a mild form of torture watching some of the shots that these guys are having a bang at. But again, for all the latecomers that came in, the shot clock in this tournament was extended this afternoon by Steve. He's added another 10 seconds onto the shot clock, which is now 40 seconds. He also informed me that after the break, and also with ball in hand, the shot clock is automatically extended as well by, I think, another 10 or 15 seconds. I can't remember. I said it earlier on in the stream, so if you want to get the full idea about it, look at the earlier part of the stream once it's finished. But he has extended the shot clock to 40 seconds rather than 30, and the two extensions are still 15 as far as I know. And he was going to do an update this afternoon as well. Need to mention that again. I came in the lobby, or I was in the lobby, but just before 2 o'clock, Steve had a brilliant idea of posting a blue message saying we're going to do an update in a minute or two, until I typed in the chat telling him we've got a match coming up here in a minute, and he then decided to cancel it until tomorrow. So I don't know what the update is, probably just a bug fix or something, nothing to get overexcited about. I don't think it'll be white lines in the pool tables that I want. I'll be surprised if it is. And I should mention the white lines on the pool table, like Shooter's Pool has, by the way, because I was in playing Cowboy the last couple of days testing it out, and it's white lines on the blue cloth. So 5 racks all. Chip on the solids. And, well, there is a ball to get on that 7. If I can get my lines to work again. I'm going all squiggly, hang on. This is going to be tough to get on in the first place. But if he could somehow pot that 4, he can get in behind the 7. But that's a tall order. And he's not... well, he's looking at playing off the 7, which is a bit dangerous considering all the other balls of Columbus's are lying in the open. including the one that's over the pocket. Well, was that a legal shot? Aye, it was a double kiss. Well, that's not a bad shot though. I think that that's a pretty good safety. Let's have a look. Well, he's left a combo, but there's nothing easy here. He's got the ball in the corner pocket covered. There's no jump cues, but you're allowed to jump. But nobody's dared try. Well, that will barely get to the pocket, will it? Well, it certainly locked up the pocket. And now Columbus only has that 14 ball as his last line of defence to cover that 7. Well, now he has to get this right. He's committed to be taking this 14, and it'd be ideal if we got a nudge in the 8 ball like that, just to hold for the 14. Now, he could have done with a wee bit more angle. He's hampered over the 7 as well. The 8 ball goes up the table though, so he can go across. The danger here is trying to run across and come in behind the 4. If he tried that, he could easily run into the 4 and have a problem. Well, he had the right idea, just too much juice on it or not enough. But he's got a shot. Again, well, see, I've seen players pushing the ball to the short rail, not getting the line. Let's see if Columbus has got a better idea. Yeah, he's going to cheat the pocket. And then all of a sudden, he's in the lead. Well, I'll be doing 3 tomorrow, Semi. There's 3 matches on tomorrow, providing everybody turns up. There's one, I think, in the middle of the afternoon, and I'll be on an early shift tomorrow, so I'll be home in plenty of time. And as I say, Friday night 9 ball starts an hour earlier tomorrow because Brian has ignored my message I sent to him, or he's going to deal with it tonight. It's starting at 6 o'clock for anybody who's interested in signing up for Friday night 9 ball. But keep your eye on the calendar to check if it's been changed. I mentioned it to Steve when I was chatting to him earlier about the shot clock in the 8 ball tournament, and he never gave me any response on it, so I presume he's just ignoring what I've asked him to do, to change just to copy the tournament, but change the start time to 7 o'clock. It's now going to start at 6 PM GMT, which is 1 PM East Coast time, and that's 10 AM Pacific. Good afternoon to Bill. Now, for any latecomers, this is by far and away not the best quality 8 ball you're going to see in this tournament. From 2 players I've never seen before, and for 2 players who've never probably been in the 10-foot table very much, as is the case with pretty much most players in the tournament. Steve I think Steve's looked in this room once or twice. I think he's desperate to do this update. Again, mention it again at the risk of repeating myself. Steve's was intended to do an update at 2 o'clock this afternoon until I told him there was a tournament match about to start, and then he said he would cancel it tomorrow. But he's looked in here once or twice to maybe see how this match is going. I don't know whether he's still maybe going to wait until tomorrow or try and do it before another tournament starts tonight. That remains to be seen. And no information as to what the update is. As I say, I don't think it's anything important. I wouldn't get excited about anything happening. All the excitement's happening in Shooters Pool, folks. It's caught us up, it's left us in its wake. Loads of new tables, loads of new venues, loads of new queues, and much, much cheaper to buy them than it is in VP4. And Steve knows that. I've told him often enough. Far too bloody expensive for queues. Mind you, you'll get nothing better to do with your winnings. You're not going to be spending your winnings in anything else other than queues. So Columbus with a 1 rack lead. But going to have to, I think he's ended up 2 straight again on this. If he had finished just a wee bit short, a wee bit closer to the inside on that 13, he'd have been able to nudge something. And now all he can do is pot it, it's dead straight. He's got no other shot from it. Well, what he has done is he's left it really awkward for Chip, who might as well have a full blown out cut in this 7 ball. But now he's playing a bank. Well, the cue ball needs to stay inside. If it comes round behind the 6, it needs to stay inside like that, and that's an excellent shot. That is really well done. Now he has to try and get out and avoid the 10 ball to get the cue ball in play, because the 8 ball goes in, but he's had another bang for no reason, and that's just sheer luck that he's ended up there with half a shot in this ball. Because where they get, I mean, if these guys think the solution to a problem is to bang a ball, then they've got a lot of learning to do. Unless he was under the assumption that he was going to hit the 10 ball and he just wanted to make sure he was going to get the cue ball out. But it doesn't matter, it's done, it's all square. Well, the break's dry. And these solid balls don't look all that bad. The 2 ball is tight into that middle pocket, but Chip's decided on the stripes, and they're not bad looking either, except he's now going to have a combo to deal with, which shouldn't be a problem. But the other problem is, though, is where the 8 ball is, which is why I thought the solids would have been better. Because he obviously then, if he was in the solids, you'd have to open the pocket up, getting rid of the 5. Because the 8 doesn't go up table, and it doesn't go past the 5 at the moment. But he could have dealt with that. So I wonder if that's the right choice. I think I would have went for solids. mind you, looking at that, see again, the 7 ball doesn't go, so maybe he did make the right choice. The 7 ball though, oh, I was just turning there as the call went on. The 7 ball does go past the 8, so that it would have been a good enough shot. It would have been good enough to leave that 7 ball there, so the solids may well still have been a better choice. But now he's going to have to play the combo. Well, at least I said hello to you, Bill. No other buggers bothered. In fact, Bill's probably get bored and left. Or maybe everybody else has as well, I don't know. Well, that's now sent the 8 ball up table and brought it in well into the open, well away from Columbus's balls. And Chip has almost overhit that. But he's got the blind pocket cut to go back into the lead. And he's overdone it. That's not going to get there. But is Columbus going to hold himself together to take these out? Last ball should be the 2 ball. He should be nowhere near that 2 ball for the foreseeable future. But how good is he going to be to get that second last ball to be able to get down and get good in the 2? That's the question. And now he's struggling, as I'm struggling with my voice, beginning to crack. I think he's more keen on the 2 than he is in the 7. Yeah. And he knows that he's losing the rack if he doesn't get this. And that's it, gone. So just 1 in it, 1 rack lead. Ball in the break for Chip Scarey from the USA. Columbus, I think, from Turkey, according to his flag. Yeah. So a couple of balls have gone. Open table. And just one problem up top. Let's have a closer look. Well, it isn't a problem. Not if you get in a good alignment with either of the balls. The 14 certainly goes. And I think Chips had another slash at a ball there. Missed it. And let Columbus in. Columbus now on the stripes. We know the 14 goes. And he should probably be taking that now. Because you can pot it and get off the short rail at the top end and back up the table. But he takes, I think, the 5 ball into the middle instead. Or what ball was it? The 6? What the hell ball was it? Tell a lie, I think it was a 10. I can't remember now. Good afternoon to Simon. Do you ever talk to Brian, Simon, at any time? I sent him a message last night to ask him to copy Friday Night 9 Ball and change it to 7 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock, and I've had no response from him, and the calendar still shows us it's set to 6 o'clock tomorrow night because the clocks went back last week. And I said to Steve as well this afternoon, and he's totally ignored me as well. He was more interested in the tournament shot clock than he was listening to what I was saying about the Friday Night 9 Ball. So it's starting an hour earlier tomorrow if nobody changes it. Where's the cue ball going? And it's a 2-rack lead. Columbus scratching off the 8 ball. The Cardinal sin in 8 ball. The shot you must never do. And the 2-rack lead is to Chip Scary. The yawning started early on now. Back to work tomorrow. Is Napnicker still there? Is he still, does he know the outcome of that match with Sullivan and the Sheriff of Pottingham? It went to the final frame. Has it actually finished? I think everybody's gone for their dinner. Well, Chip Scary is trying to hold for the 10 ball there. I think he's okay. And he may well end up taking this 13 ball back into this pocket that we're at. If he can get the cue ball behind it, and he could, but he's missed the 10 because of it. And he would have been favourite to run out there. And now Columbus has the table at his mercy. I'm trying to think of who Clark is. Is it, what's his name again? Clark. I can't think anybody called Clark. Well, again, Chip going for the great big draw. Aye, who the hell's Clark? I mean, he must be a low-ranked player. I've never heard of him. Well, this match now is approaching 90 minutes old. That's a good pot. Well, he's going to have to back it up with another one, and I think he's going to be running into the 4 if he cuts this into that top left-hand corner pocket. It looks as if he's going right side though, or is he? Let's have a look. I'm trying to see what line he's taking here. I don't think he's quite made up his mind yet. Well, it looks as if he's going up table. digging into the cue ball as well, which doesn't raise any hopes that he's going to get good on that 9 ball up the table. And again, struggling to find that line. So, Columbus, if he wants to stay in this match, he really needs to take this out. But again, he's taken the ball that's the most adjacent to the 8. And now he's going to have to play sensible to make sure he gets a nice line on this 8 ball. And he's immediately going to have to play a good shot to hold the cue ball. Now, it's not difficult to just stun across and go on to that 1. He prefers to just let it run. And this, again, the simple thing to do here is to run the 1 in, run to the rail and get the cue ball back out. You're going to be a big distance from the 8, but you want to be back out in a line that makes it easier to pot it. He could have done with going another 10 inches there to make it a wee bit more comfortable. But it goes in, and he has got the job done in this rack. Stays in touch, 1 behind. The break back with Chip Scarey. And a ball on the break as well, and these balls are not that bad. What's all the ones in the top rail? Is that a solid? Yes. Well, if you're going to take the stripes, then you obviously get rid of the 14 first, and that opens up the 15. And I'm about to sneeze. Oh dear. Big sneeze. So Chip's gone solid. And he needs to get a delicate little draw off this if he's going to cut that 4 and take it next. I think that's what he's intended to do. Well, he's looking at the 3, but he needs to look at that 4. I mean, taking the 4's not going to make it any more easier for Columbus, because Columbus can still cut the 14 to the other pocket anyway and open up that pocket. So Chip needs to get rid of this 4 now that he's got the chance of doing it, and he's not read it at all. He's actually kicked in behind it. I've never heard of that guy. Ronnie Clark? Or Jamie. Oh, Jamie Clark. I think I've heard of that one. I thought it was Ronnie. I've heard of Jamie Clark. But he'll be ranked 67 for a reason. They're just so tough in the professional ranks to get any level of consistency. I mean, these guys win 1 match, then they lose the next one. That's how they're in terms of prize money, they're just winning loose change most of the time. And I think if you don't get through the first round in any of these first to 4 early round tournaments like they have, I don't think you win $1. I don't think you win anything. In fact, you end up out of pocket, your expenses for where you're staying and all of that stuff. Your laundry and everything. I don't think you come out with anything. Well, Columbus, his chances of winning this rack at this particular point are slim to zero, because he's got no shot either way. He can call the bank on the 14, or just try and play a half decent safety shot. And he's left a shot for chip, but the 2 ball is going to be the nemesis for him if he's going to try and clear the table. Well, he's not. I don't think he was committed either way with that shot, because he's left a cut back in the 6 or a difficult cut up table in that 4. Now if he plays the cut back in the 6, he's got a chance of the cue ball running down into that 15 and 2 ball. This is what I'm saying about trying to take opportunities that will maybe at least get the cue ball in a better position up table. But he's not even looked at it. Let me have a look. Maybe it's not even on. I think the thin cut is on in that 6. And he's now run into his 2 ball. And I think he's pretty much killed it. Let's have a look. Well, that 2 ball, I think you can get enough of it to pot it. It's touch and go, but again, you've got to be in a decent position to play it. It looks pretty difficult. Now, he's won 87 grand. Well, that's actually probably about 80 grand more than I thought he would have won. Well, that just shows you how difficult it is. Well, when you consider the guy, I mean, he could be married, kids, mortgage, the car, everything else to pay for. I mean, there's a lot of expenses there as well, as I say, when they're going to different venues. It was actually better for them when they were in lockdown, where they didn't have to really travel very far. They were all stopped in one place. Columbus now with ball in hand. Can he get that 15? Yes, he can. But is he going to run right through so he takes the 14 into the middle? Well, he can't pot a ball with ball in hand. You know you're duffing him up. And he never got the cue ball really into a great position. He would have had to cut that 14 back. And the cue ball then would have been just running all over the shop. Plus the fact he's got one of his balls up table. And again, Chip is trying to do things with the cue ball. I think he should be focusing more in the pot than trying to be elaborate. He was trying to check the cue ball to come inside, which he did do. But that's the reason for the miss. When you start putting that side spin in the cue ball to alter the cue ball, it makes the difficulty in the pot a lot more. You get that bit of squirt in the cue ball as well. Well, this is the pattern this match has been pretty much from the start. It's a tale of who misses the least. Columbus quite happy to roll the ball in, and this time he had made no attempt to get up the table to get on his last ball. So now it's another one where he misses it. The cue ball's going to come back down table. The chances are he's going to leave Chip on a shot. Well, he's called the bank, and it's a good bank. And now he has to go all out and need to watch he doesn't scratch off that 6 ball if this cue ball hits the 8 and skims off the 6. Or is he calling the bank again? I never noticed what pocket he chose there. Yeah, up and down for the bank. Well, that's a good effort. But at least the 8-ball's gone slightly awkward on that top rail, because Chip has to find his way up there. Well, I still would take the risk of the 3-railer to get to this 8-ball on that side. That's a shot I would play. You risk the scratch, but I would much rather do that than you see Chip not really having the sense to play the more sensible shot and let the cue ball run around the angles with the spin, choosing to bang it and try the inside English again to create the miracle shot. But banging him at that pace offline, you're just simply going to hit the jaws and the ball's never going to go in. And he's gifted Columbus back into the match. The angle that he had to go with on that shot was perfect, just to come round the 3 rails to get onto that 8-ball. And it just amazes me how players can't see that as a shot. I mean, was he playing that shot rather than taking, because he thought the other one was too risky for the scratch? I mean, if you get the ball to a tighter angle, then it can come around the rails and go that way, so it finishes higher up and nowhere near the pocket. You know, you can take evasive manoeuvres, but to just bang at a ball and try it with loads of spin, I'm sorry, it's just not going to get you any success. And Chips had the lead, he's lost the lead, he's had the lead for most of the match, but he just cannot, neither player is going to be consistent enough to get those couple of racks given the chances they've had. That's why the match takes an awful lot longer. We're now an hour and 41 minutes into it. I'm desperate for my dinner and a cup of tea. And I'll need to have another drink of water here because the voice is beginning to crack, I'm afraid. Well, the 3 didn't follow in. So Chip on the stripes, and he's got the 10-ball locked up. The 15-ball goes. And, well, that's going to be a missed call. Well, it didn't go in anyway, but he certainly had very little chance of getting back down the table for either of these balls. So the way things are at the moment, we've got somebody having to make a manoeuvre to break the 10 and the 5. And it's the good opportunity would be that 15 ball is over the pocket for Chip, and if he can get on that 15, he can certainly get lucky and get a kiss on that 5 or 10 to bring it into play. Likewise for Columbus, he's going to have to do something sometime, and he might have a chance here. He might come across, miss the 14 ball, hit the right side rail and come back into the 5 and the 10. Let's have a look from this angle. Yeah, he could possibly do that. You've got to get the left-hand English on it to kick the rail and come this way, but he's just trying to nurse the 4 to the pocket. And that's not really improved the situation. That's not necessarily going for the game. Well, this time Chip using power to get the cue ball around to try and break things up a bit. Well, he has done, but all he's done is bring the 5 into play. And right move at the wrong time. And the biggest problem, we see this every week, ball deep in the pocket. How do you get this cue ball out of there and try and spin along the short rail and out for the 8 into the same pocket, or for the 8 up the table somewhere else? And that's why it's so difficult to judge how the cue ball is going to react off those rails so close to the jaws of the pocket. Now, has he called the bank again? Let's have a look. Yes, he has done. Well, the 8 ball goes over the pocket. Chip Scarry's favourite to be taking the lead again. Can he get the job done though? What, the 2020 or 21 champion? £4.5 grand. Aye, well, I mean, he's not going to be... I would imagine he's not a full-time professional. I'd imagine he's probably got a job as well, because you can't live off £4.5 grand. And I don't think the English billiard scene is a big money earner for those players. $2019, yeah. Well, Chip's found a way to miss again. And Columbus, let's have a look. Now, can he hit the point and not drop in the pocket? Well, he doesn't even fancy playing that, because I think he's just trying to play safe here. Yeah, he's just trying to push the 8 ball around and leave it difficult for Chip. And he certainly left nothing on. But Chip now needs to roll on to the 10 ball, sort of dead weight, just so he leaves the cue ball behind the 14. I mean, that's a sensible shot to play. Just dead weight, get the 10 ball to the rail, leave the cue ball behind that 14. And again, far too heavy, and he's exposed the cue ball, and that's just a poor shot and poor control of pace. Which again, if you've dialed your mouse in better and you're used to the 10-foot table, you'd have been able to play that shot. Again, to the defence of the players, they haven't had that practice. But meanwhile, Columbus has hung the 8. Nobody wants to win this rack. Well, the little... yeah, just put it in at an angle and he can spin across for the 9. He needs to get the top on it though. Well, he's going to finish the short side, and that, again, I mean, that's not the shot to play. You have to make it easier for yourself by going to this side and playing and pushing the ball through with a little bit of spin. He's now left himself really difficult in this 9, and it's managed to hold the line, and he's got there, but there are easier ways of doing it. Now, well, what you don't do is cut this with any pace and scratch in the opposite corner, and he's completely missed the 8 ball. And that's from just not looking at where the 8 ball was sitting in the pocket. And he's gifted the lead to Columbus. And that could be a big mistake. These balls are further into the pocket than you think. and they're hidden behind the knuckle when you think you can just chip it. Well, I've been in pain for the last hour and 50 minutes. I've been trying to hide it. You see, that's why, let's have a look at this bracket. Where the hell is it again? Hang on a minute. That's why I'm less inclined to stream that other match. See, what's the other one that's on tomorrow? There's 3 on tomorrow. I'm not quite so keen, with the greatest of respect to the 2 players involved. Where are they? What's the one that's on earlier on in the afternoon? Is it the one with Christian? I can't find the damn thing. That's the one. This one here's on tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. I think I'll give that a miss. With great respect to those players, because I don't think I could sit and torture myself for another 2 hours, which they're probably more than likely going to do to me. So I might well leave that well alone and concentrate the matches later on. And do 2 out of the 3 matches tomorrow. But these players can, well, they can give themselves a chance to get better. But that Chip Scary, I thought, was going to be playing a reasonably sensible game, but he's trying to bang balls and create shapes that aren't there. And you have to know your limitations and take what angles you've got there. He's trying to do far too much with the cue ball on shots. And that's a bad habit to be in, unless somebody gets a hold of you and tells you to start looking at the angle that you have available to you and working with that, rather than trying to do some creative artistic billiard shot to get you there somehow or other and be some sort of hero. The only thing it's ever going to do is going to get you on one ball. It's not necessarily going to win you the rack in a match. That's what I'd say about talking about playing with some common sense. Yeah, as I say, there's no problem getting you on there. It's a case of sending invites, whether you can see them and all of that. But that takes time. I mean, that's not going to get done 5 minutes before I start streaming. That takes time to do. And then see, the thing is, I've got to remember how to work with this bloody Discord, because I never mess with it. It took me long enough to get. I'll tell you how bad it is. It took me long enough to get Steve into the channel, and I never ever get Popman into the channel. That's how long that took. Popman could never see my messages, so I don't know what the hell was happening there. And he's never been on Discord since. I think he was on one night and then that was it. Never seen him again. No, I'm going for my dinner. Sod that. I'll be away at my dinner. I'll be back on before I go to bed. I'm absolutely starving. I'm not going to mess about for 25 minutes trying to get that set up when my stomach comes first. I am heading for food. Food and sustenance is the order of the day. Discord can take its time. Right, so the call ball has gone in. And Columbus with a 1-rack lead. And all his balls are there to be on the hill. And again, well, in some sense, he's done the right thing, because he's going to end up playing the cut on the 6 once he pots this 5, and the cue ball's going to come out into the table. And he doesn't need to thump the 6 in, he just needs to pot it and let the natural angle and the bounce off the rail do that with the cue ball. But he's missed the 5, a straight in 5. And would you believe it, he's left nothing really for his opponent. But that was a bad 5 ball to be missing. But that's how difficult this table is for these players. But I think there's also alignment problems as well when they're, you know, lining up for a pot. I lined up behind whoever it was earlier on there, and he was actually aiming at the jaw, and it did hit the jaw, but it went in with the pace that he played it at. He wasn't even lined up properly in the shot. Meanwhile, Columbus, can he see this 6 ball? Well, I don't know whether I think he might need to. Can he get there? No, he couldn't. He couldn't see enough of it. Yeah, I'll be going to get my dinner. I'll be back here. I'll be going to my bed about 9, just after 9. So there's a couple of hours yet. There's no other match on tonight unless somebody arranges something. But I'm planning on this being the last one. Well, it's a tough shot for Chip, but safe in the knowledge that he shouldn't have the cue ball anywhere near that 6 ball. And that's a good pot. Well, now all you do with this is roll it dead weight to the hole. If it doesn't go in, you've covered the pocket. Your odds-on favourite to win the rack, to square the match. And we do have a tied ball game. 9 racks all. And that's the other thing. It's a strange thing about these matches that end up torturing you. You know, again, with respect to the players, you know, they tend to go the full distance. They go to the final rack as well. They're not over quickly. You have to endure the pain. And it's a dry break. And the table is a proper mess. And in one sense, I think Chip did the right thing. They're just having a bang to try and move things about, but I don't think it's made a great deal of difference. It's not really improved it that well. But Columbus now commits himself to the solids, and he's got a solid hidden away behind two stripes there in the bottom right hand corner, so that's not going to do him any good. And he's not really got any adjacent ball that's going to let him break into those 2 balls to free up the 4. Well, that's a good pot. I think he's pretty much locked up in his own ball now. Let's have a look. Yeah, not much doing there, but quite content to try and play a 3-ball combo here. 3 onto the what's that, the pink 12. Good evening or good afternoon to Hazad. Well, we've been watching this match for 2 hours now almost, give or take a minute. Well, who's going to get to the hill first? Who wants to get to the hill first? Because Chip's at the table. His strike ball is still pretty much tied up with the 4. Let's have a quick double check to see. No, that's not going anywhere. Well, now, what does he do here? Because he's got a good angle in the 11 to give it a smack and go all out for the breakout on his 12 ball. Well, he's looking at the 9. I don't know whether he's thinking of trying to come across and do it from this shot. But not at that pace, he ain't. But where he's finished in the 11 is not bad at all. But he's going to have to use pace to get the 11 in the hole and get the cue ball moving. But he didn't. He had to stun that more than run. He actually let the cue ball run with top rather than stunning it more, which is why he just ran across the table. Now he's ended up scratching. And Columbus with ball in hand is going to have work to do as well. Well, the 1 ball is off the rail. Now, might be better if he just ran onto the 8 ball here off this 3. Like that. And the unfortunate thing is, he's hooked himself in a shot if he'd potted a 3, but he's left nothing on, which is more important. It was a safe shot from the point of view of leaving nothing on for Chip when he comes to the table. Good evening to Mr. Deanster. Well, I can't get to the 1. That's the only thing that's ruining his chances of running out here. But he could just do a little billiard off the 1. He'd be risking a double kiss. But he does have the chance that that even if Chip comes to the table, he might not be able to get good on that 8 ball. He could try the little billiard. Well, he's got the double kiss. And as it's turned out, he's not left anything easy. And where's he calling this ball? Into the middle. Well, I think he's going to have to either try running off the side rail into the 8 or missing it so he can take the 8 into the other pocket opposite the 3. Again, I think he tried the double bank there. They do not call that middle pocket at the top of the screen as we look. Because he should know that the double banks don't work now. Did he the 1 rail bank? I'm falling asleep here already and it's only 6 o'clock in the afternoon, but I think this some of this viewing that I've had in the last 2 hours might have something to do with it. Needs to bounce and miss the 8, and it hasn't really got there. Well, now Columbus has got an awful lot to do here. He's got no chance of getting on the 8 from there unless he goes full blown. Where's the cue ball ended up though? Well, the obvious thing is if you draw off this, you're going to scratch. But if you get the line right, the draw should take you just past the pocket. The line off that angle to pot this is taking him to about there. And he's actually got bottom right in the cue ball. And that will do. And a fairly straightforward cut. Should be taking Chip Scarry to within one rack. Be interesting to see who either of these players plays next round. Quick look. Let's have a quick look and see what the story is here. Well, Hazard is lying in wait for the winner of this match, so Hazard would really need to be playing really badly to be losing to either of these two guys. But what he doesn't want to do is to be taking liberties. You get the job done no matter who you're playing. Don't take anything for granted. Well, if he starts faffing about and taking liberties and getting too loose, rats can suddenly start drifting away when a guy's only maybe got a couple of balls to pot, so you don't want to get in with that idea. That's one big mistake you don't want to fall into the trap of, taking something for granted. I'm sure Larry wasn't doing that when he was 4-1 down last night. And then ended up winning 9 racks in a row to win the match. But Chip needs one. And again, having a bang to not only pot the ball but try and open things up. I mean, these are they're amping every second shot. And all of Columbus's balls are on. They are all available. And this is the first problem, is the line that he has in the 7 ball. Now he might want to draw right into this and try and stun across. Maybe the angle was far too much to be able to do that. But he's got a really long, thin cut. But again, fancies the bank. Is the cue ball going to stay alive? Yes, it is. The bank has gone in. And now he must find a way to get somewhere near. Now you need to go with this with a bit of top and left to try and bring the cue ball back across the right side around the angles. See, he's not done anything like that, and that's why the cue ball's finished up there. You have to manoeuvre the cue ball in this case to come down to the bottom side of the 8 ball to either leave you on a shot into the middle or run it up table into that top right. And now he's ended up hooked. And this could be the opportunity that Chip's been waiting to deal with the 2 balls up table. Although he's got 1 ball down table, the 10 ball he needs to be taken care of as well. You always, as I say, you always want to leave an adjacent ball to that 8 ball to make it easier to get on to the 8 ball. So, by rights, he should have taken that 10 ball first and dealt with these 2 balls in the bottom half of the table first. Because he doesn't want to start travelling around, and he's going to have to start travelling around if he plays these 2 first. He doesn't need to play these 2 first. And well, he'll do it his way. I mean, the table's wide open, so there's no excuse not to be doing it whatever way you choose to do it, because you're always going to see a ball. What's happened here? What's he done? Well, he's on the 15. You need to go forward and come onto that side rail for the 10. Forward with a wee bit of left, and you've got to get the pace in it. He's almost there. But you see the angle he's got now in the 10 means the cue ball's cutting across the table. So now the cue ball's having to travel more distance now. And again, he's run to that awkward, uncomfortable line on the 11. This is how it is to get yourself in trouble if you don't play the balls in the right order, or at least an order that gives you the best opportunity of getting out. And now the last ball he's going to pot will be the 10, and the 8 ball's way up the table. He should have taken the 10 ball first thing. And now he's going to end up hooked in the 10. And that's just a disaster waiting to happen. It was somehow inevitable he was going to end up there. Well, he almost got the hit. Didn't quite get the bend. But what it means is we are going all the way. And, well, if only Chip was listening, he would have done that. A much better route than the route that he chose. So here we go, final rack decider, and we are an hour and 12 minutes into this match. Sorry, 2 hours and 12 minutes. I think I'm in a bit of a time warp here. And I'm hedging my bets that this is candidate for one of the longest matches in the tournament apart from the final. I'm going to stick my neck in the block and say it probably will be. In fact, the final will be over in half the time this is probably taking. Well, easy miss. My Chip scary and a proper mess down the bottom of the table again. I think what I'll do while this is going on at the moment is just to do a quick refresh, just have a quick look down the bracket and see that nothing has been updated. If there are any other matches we set, Boots supposed to be. I meant to ask Steve earlier on. I forgot to ask him if he was going to play this match or if he was just signing up for the hell of it. We'll find out. I'm hedging my bet saying he doesn't turn up, or legit Matthew doesn't turn up. Albinario tomorrow night against Tommy. I don't think anything's changed. I think it's all still the same. Cobra playing Mooncake tomorrow at 7:30. LS3 against Spectre Dawn on Sunday at 7:30. GMT and Sergeresh against Jover. That's Sunday at 4 PM, so there'll be a couple of matches on Sunday. I don't think I can't remember if I've ever seen Jover play. And this is the match that we're watching just now. And then we've got that, as I say, that Christian one against Little Wolf in the afternoon. I'll let them get on with it. And that's about it. Oh, semi-pros went and had dinner and he's back again. 2 hours and 15 minutes I've been here watching this. And that doesn't include the bedhead match before it. Give the players their dues, they're trying their hardest. But there's a big learning curve for both of these players, which doesn't help the fact that it's been played in the 10-footer either, because they're well out their comfort zone. Well, Columbus has a cut back here. The old blind pocket cut on the 11. He's bound to hit the 13, or if not, he'll run onto the 8. Well, he's done both. He's missed the pot, but more importantly, the 8's now locked up pretty much. Although the 14 goes. And the 13 ball is an adjacent ball to get onto that 14. So I think he should be cutting that. What am I talking about? He's on the bloody solids. That tells you I need food. I've just realised I'm getting myself confused. My brain's beginning to frazzle with the lack of food. No, BP4 is a hard game to learn, especially if you're not learning anything in real life, if you play real life pool or snooker or whatever. You know, because whatever you learn in those games you can bring to Virtual Pool 4. How to impart the spin, how to stun the cue ball, and learning all of those are big factors in how you get shape. And then you have to raise the game to the next level by working out how to deal with problems rather than just banging at a ball and trying to send a cue ball spinning somewhere round the table that might hit a ball. And we've seen an awful lot of that in this. Well, Columbus is 2 shots away from the next round, and he needs to just baby this into the pocket and he'll be on the 8. Send it to the jaw and just let it drop in. And he's going to be hampered, I think, slightly over this 4 ball. Yeah. Again, I think he's more or less okay. Just needs to watch he doesn't miss cue. But this to take him through to the next round. Now I looked earlier to see it's Hazard that plays the winner of this, so it's Columbus that goes through. And I thought Chip Scary would win this early on after seeing him after a few shots, and then he started banging at balls, and that's why he's ended up losing at the end of the day. Columbus goes through 11 racks to 10. The bracket will update in a second or two, and it has done, and Columbus now plays Hazard in round 2. Plenty of time to get the matches arranged, and loads of matches still to go in the first round. So the next time I'll be back will be tomorrow, whatever time it is again. I can't remember, I'll need to look at the bracket again, but it won't be in the afternoon for that early match. I'm going to give that a body swerve and let those guys fight it out, and we'll see the result of that as well. So, until we meet again, another thing, a last reminder, unless that tournament Friday Night 9 Ball is copied and updated to 7 PM, it will be starting at 6 PM tomorrow. So bear that in mind. It will start at 6 o'clock rather than 7. And Simon probably won't ever appear again semi-pro. Probably not. Right, take care. I'm away for food, and I'll see you again at some point. But thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.